Here are 5 quick lineup hacks I want you to know in Madden 25 Ultimate Team. Now, Say family, and welcome back to another Madden 25 Ultimate Team video. On the screen right here is a $10 PlayStation gift card. I know you guys have been fiending for that one. If you want Xbox tomorrow, you know what to do. Scroll down, drop a like. It's simple. All right, tip number 1, EA Sports just changed the AP cap in this game, boosting up our offensive AP to 6 available and defense up to 7. And if you didn't know, abilities in Madden for the past couple of years have arguably been more important than the stats on the back of your card. Here are a couple abilities I want to make sure you're using. Now, number 1 on offense, an absolute necessity, is a gunslinger quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback with gunslinger, you're making a mistake. I'm assuming your quarterback probably has gunslinger, but if you don't yet have it equipped, be sure you're coming through and throwing that ability on your card. Beyond that, I don't really know what else the meta is on offense. I'm running jukebox on my Icky Woods. Reason being is I feel like I can move the ball between the 20s pretty well. When I run it, it's in the red zone. That's where I struggle, and being able to juke with that ability actually makes a difference to me. But if you guys have a better ability on offense, let me know. Now, on defense, I'm a little bit more sure about what I'm doing and what I think you guys should be doing. Number 1, I think putting pick artist on your user is very important. So Brian Dawkins right here has pick artist. I've got Israel Mukamu with mid-zone KO. It works sometimes. He's in a cover 3 shell, and this position is actually important as my middle safety. But if your scheme is all over the place and your safeties are moving from the middle to the outside, this ability might not be the best. Number 3, I really like lurk artist on Isaiah Simmons. If you have Isaiah Simmons, I'd recommend you put lurk artist on him. It's only 1 AP, and a lot of other defensive abilities are 2 AP, so putting in this 1 AP ability will probably get you to that 7 out of 7 threshold, which you don't need to be at, but you might as well be at. And then finally, I've seen this be pretty OP online. We have an AKA Edge Threat Elite X Factor on JJ Watt. This costs 2 AP. It's going to start by lighting up at the start of the game and basically just give us better pass rush moves. I think going through and having an AKA player who's lighting up at the start of the game is a smart decision on defense, and I like the fact that I've got abilities at all 3 levels of my defense. Beyond that, I know deep out zone KO or mid zone KO can be really, really good on your corners or your mid safeties, but for me personally, that's not how I'm running my defense. Just be sure you're using all 7 AP at the bare minimum. It doesn't matter if you're putting the best abilities, but just be sure you're at least using it. Number 2, we're going to talk a little bit about special teams really quickly. If you do not have a kicker with clutch kicker, I know you watching this have Rigoberto Sanchez as your punter, and clutch kicker, if you didn't know, is going to be immunity to the ice kicker effect. So if you want to go through here and you want to put clutch kicker on Rigoberto Sanchez, you can do that, and then on a game-winning field goal, you can sub him in as your starting kicker, and that's only going to be for people who don't have a kicker with clutch kicker. If you already have that, you're fine and dandy. If you do not, though, Rigoberto Sanchez with clutch is a must. I think clutch kicker is the most important special teams ability in this entire game. And then just while we're on the special teams menu, be sure you're putting in your kicker with the highest kick power as your kickoff specialist. Kick returns are actually solid in this game. We want to kick the ball as far as possible and make it as difficult as possible for our opponent to get a kick 6. Okay, before we talk about tip number 3, on the screen right here are some more dubs we had over on Underdog Fantasy yesterday. We've been cooking, bro. $180 in wins. Yesterday, we swept our picks on Monday Night Football. I've only missed 1 slip in the past 2 football days, which is absolutely insane. If you guys copied my picks, congratulations on the W's. I'm happy I was able to win you guys a little bit of money. Hope you guys were eating a W. That game was awesome last night as well. And also, boys, that streak pick is getting long. We had Nick Chubb attempts. That hit. I am 3 picks away from turning $10 into $2,000 with the Underdog Fantasy Streaks feature. If you have yet to sign up with Underdog, you're missing out, boys. Click the link in the description. Use the promo code SWIFT. Let's win together on Sunday. Tip number 3, let's quickly talk about our strategy items. If you do not have a coach right here in your strategy item tab, this is a necessity. Sean McDermott for a couple thousand coins is giving the entire team +1 zone coverage. For me, I run zone. If you want to find a coach that's going to be getting those boosts, go to your item catalog right here, filter down by the type strategy, and you guys are going to see that there's a bunch of coaches who are going to be giving you strategy item boosts. Now, as we scroll on down, I think the easiest way possible to find these coaches on the block is by going through the catalog and filtering it that way. If you've gone onto the auction block and you tried filtering it down by strategy items, you know how difficult it is. Now, I can't lie, sometimes these coaches, they just won't be posted up, so you're probably going to have to check periodically, but find a coach that gives you the most important boost on your team. If you go through and you run some man and you run some zone, Matt Eberflus coach is probably a great one to pick up. +1 man and +1 zone is insane. Now, if you're not seeing any of these cards right here that are going to be giving 2 boosts as coaches, it's still worth coming through and buying just the 1 boost players. Scroll down a little bit further and you can find these. And in my opinion, like I said, the best way to find these coaches is filtering down through the item catalog. As you guys can see, we got Sean McDermott for 3.9 man. That is an unreal deal for +1 zone on your entire team, bro. That's a must. But again, pick whichever coach has the boost that you prefer. If you run man coverage, Matt Eberflus is your guy. I would say that Matt Eberflus and Sean McDermott are probably number 1 and number 2 in terms of the best coaches to buy. Let's talk about strategy items though, because tip number 4 is talking about strategy items, and we're going to be staying in our item catalog. If you guys don't know, it is very, very difficult to filter down by strategy items the way you want to on the auction block. In my opinion, this is a way better way of doing it. You can go through, look at all the strategy items, and then be like, okay, I think this one would be awesome. I think this one would help out my team. For an example, man-to-man right here, +1 man, +1 press. This would absolutely help a lot of people's teams, and you can find this way easier by filtering down by the catalog. Now, for me personally, I'm really looking for any boost to my zone coverage. I already have the in the zone green strategy item. If I want to find the one that's a little bit better, this pink one right here, it's doable. There's just not many of these posted up on the block right now. I'm going to check periodically whenever I see one. Oh yeah, I'll go through and buy it, but it is pretty hard to find one of these in the zone cards posted up. Whenever it's available, I'm absolutely snagging it, but as you guys can see, there's none on the block right here. Again, the best way to find these though, going through your catalog. That's my pro tip in this video. And just rack up as many strategy items as you possibly can. They're really going to be worth the coins. They're going to stick around on your team for a while. If I saw an in the zone card right there up for 60k, I would literally buy to that price point, because I just think those strategy items are so important. Like getting that +1 zone for 3k is insane. Getting +1 throw power, the most important stat on a quarterback, is insane. Getting man in zone coverage is crazy as well. All right, tip number 5. Let's talk about the more important aspect that requires organization in your lineup. That's going to be your specialist tab, boys. Go through here and be sure you've actually spent a little bit of time on this specialist tab, because this is going to be how your players line up in game. It's very important to go through and put in your 2 best pass rushers at rush right end and rush left end. If you've got a really good outside linebacker and you wanted to pass rush, put him in as a rush right end and a rush left end. If you want to put in one of your edge defenders at defensive tackle for a little bit more speed, this is where you go through and move those players around, because whatever you have in here is basically how your team is going to line up in game. If you want one of your outside corners to play slot corner, move them around. If you want one of your fastest players to be one of your user defenders, be sure you're putting them in as sub linebacker number 1. Now, the reason why I've got Malcolm Rodriguez and Kyle Hamilton here is because for my defense, they're kind of playing in the double mug. But if I was playing a different scheme and I was noticing that Malcolm Rodriguez was lining up where I wanted my user to be, and I wanted, say, Brian Dawkins to be my user, I would go through and make this sub to make it way easier when I'm in game. And to be honest, this plus the coaches thing are the 2 most important things you guys have set up in this game. For me personally, I got JJ at slot receiver. Reason being, in my scheme, I throw to my slot receiver the most. But if, for example, I throw to my outside receiver the most, I would put JSN or Jalen Hyde in here, because I want JJ in the position where I'm throwing to the most. And if that was outside, I wouldn't want him at slot. So it's very important that you guys are going through and just organizing this. It will make it a lot easier for you once you're in game. It's going to make it a lot easier where you don't have to do formation subs. It's going to ensure you're having some of the best pass rushers at the right spots. And again, if you're putting outside linebackers at your edge defender, I would recommend putting your left end and your right end at starting DT, if of course you're playing with DTs on your field. So those are 5 lineup tips you guys need to know in Madden 25 Ultimate Team. These will help you out, make your lineup better, ensure you're up to date with the AP, give you a couple of boosts, and make it easier once you're in online games. Until next time, I'm out. Love y'all. See ya. Peace.